Nothing happened in here.
Take my hand and share my world. With your love, I am complete. Nothing else can satisfy me. Your love sets my soul on fire, baby. You're my only desire. No more feeling sad and lonely. Come with me, just wait and see. All my life I've searched, looked for love on this earth. See us. All my life I waited for you.
Oh. Frick. I didn't know my mic was muted. Oh. Well. At least you got some tunes. We got some tunes. So for that, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, and MBs, welcome to another Adam Chase broadcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We got a lot to look at. We got a lot to talk about. So, first of all, we gotta turn this bumping music down. Holy moly. We're just gonna turn it down. What's going on, y'all? So, lots of things happening. This ain't the text, but hold on. Because we're going to start off with some Daily Wire. You know what? No, we're gonna do X-Men. We're gonna do some drama slop. X-Men drama. I don't want to single her out. I'll say X-Men drama. Heat 2 more worth it? Sure. I'm just gonna center this back. There we go. All right. Is the the volume is it could be a little bit. It could be a little lower. There we go. There we go. Just got all my organizations up in here. Yeah, we're gonna. Oh no, this ain't it. What the? For some reason, this tweet wasn't the one that I was looking for. Discussing film, I swear. I think it's just a Twitter thing. Because every time I'm on Twitter, I'm just trying to, open a new tab and get that link to set aside so that I can keep scrolling on other shit. Then when I switch back to that tab that I kept that tweet on, it's a different fucking tweet. I swear to God. I don't know if that's a Firefox thing. I don't know if that's a mixture of Firefox with Twitter, or maybe I'm just a little too stonachino. So, you know, or all the above. Trying to. There it is. Frick. Took me forever. Okay. All right. Let's. Okay. Yep. Usually I won't look at dish rags like this, but this is something that I feel is important because it's to speak upon something that I feel like a lot of people misconstrue as something that is what an artist should or should not be in terms of what kind of roles they should take, what kind of, what kind of yeah, I think that's better. It's a little close though. That's fine. I think this is a very important discussion to have, in that when it comes to the topic of free will, I feel like a lot of people misconstrue, get in the bag versus just wanting to, branch out and do more creative shit that has a bigger opportunity. And whether you agree or not, Marvel is kind of a bigger opportunity. So, Indy Never Ready reportedly turned down a role in Heat 2. We don't know what role, by the way, which is hilarious. Turned down a role in Heat 2 to star as Rogue in X-Men. Now, before we read the article, I just want to make one thing absolutely clear. There is no way to tell the decision process of an actor and what their career trajectory looks like. I know I'm saying like woo-woo shit, of like, oh, but this is a bag opportunity rather than doing something like Heat 2 that's like an opportunity of a lifetime. Yeah, it is. It is an opportunity of a lifetime. But at the same time, there's not even like a director, I don't think. I don't think there's a director yet for for X-Men. X-Men new no, X-Men director. MCU X-Men director. Okay, so so they did announce the director. Okay, Jake Schreier. Huh. Okay. Interesting. It's the Thunderbolts director. Okay. So, yeah. We don't know anything beyond the cast and the production. That's it. That it's just coming out in 2028, and this is all that we have so far in MCU X-Men, right? The problem that people, I feel like, are misunderstanding, though, is the fact that, like, someone like Indy Never Ready can actually act her ass off, and she can probably put in something of a different take on a role like Rogue. And I was watching Will Neff stream the other night, and he mentioned that that Rogue has like a completely different storyline. Now, I'm a Marvel kid. I'm a Marvel dude, but X-Men, unfortunately, was... I mean, I did read, I think, like, a couple of comic books, but I was only more so, like, into the TV show. And then I was really into X-Men 97 on Disney Plus, because a buddy of mine on a shoot that we were on said that like, I gotta watch it. So I remember knowing that, like, X-Men is a very special... that has a very special place in the MCU as, like, the poster children of mutants, essentially. Because you have mutants, you have Inhumans, and then you have the people who are just batshit crazy enough to just, or it's like supernatural, shit. I think they're making a correct decision, or at least Indy Never Ready is making a correct decision, because, first of all, this is going to pay dividends for her. This is going to pay her buku bucks. And that's great. That's a thing that, most people would dream of. And this is a role that she's probably going to have for the next 10 years. So, yeah, this is kind of like a no-brainer that we're going to see her do something like this, all right, let's read some drama slop here from page 6. Boy, oh boy. Why Obsession star Indy Never Ready is Hollywood's hottest young actress on everyone's shortlist for big money roles. It's just that title alone, just fucking, I hate it. I hate everything about it. Hello? What? Want to keep reading? Become a... Oh, man. Hang on. We're gonna hack the mainframe here. Stand by. We're hacking the mainframe. Okay. Interesting. Oh, right. I think we got it. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we hacked your shit. I'm a hackerman now. I'm a filmmaker, streamer, and now hackerman. That's right. Why Obsession star Indy Never Ready is Hollywood's hottest young actress on everyone's shortlist for big money roles. A few months ago, actress Indy Never Ready was a relative unknown. Now she's starring in a Marvel franchise, turning down co-starring roles with Leo and getting papped outside of the Chateau Marmont. I hate that. I hate that little stand it. It's like this is a person who's just living their fucking life. It drives me nuts that like the thing that you start your article off with is this privileged actress outside of the Chateau Marmont. It's like, dog, like I'm sure not even a year ago this chick was, you know, dog walking, washing dishes, doing customer service, working retail, streaming, doing all sorts of shit in order to get by. And fucking assholes have to be like, oh, look at this out of touch actor, dude. Oh, we hate to see it. Not to mention she could be the Oscar contention for a film considered to be one of the most profitable ever at the box office, which would be crazy. Before the horror hit, Obsession was released on May 15th. Never Ready 25 was known primarily for to fans of the TV series Superman and Lois. Perhaps the controversial 2020 Netflix drama 13 Reasons Why as a regular on both shows. Well, Superman Lois as a regular, I think she was only on a few episodes. 13 Reasons Why, I don't know. Anyways, the star has joined the next X-Men movie. Cut to today when she is on everyone's shortlist right now, a prominent producer in town tells us, noting that the actress is regularly turning down mid-seven-figure offers. Okay. How would this fucking guy know that? Or person? The original Heat was okay. Yeah, we knew that. We learned that before Never Ready was revealed last week as a star of the next X-Men movie for Marvel with Adam Driver and Sadie Sink. She was on the short list of actors being wooed to star in Heat 2, the upcoming sequel to Michael Mann's epic crime drama. So let me get this straight. Since when? So how is this turning down a role? You're not turning down a role. First of all, she wasn't even offered. According to the article, she was not offered the role. Turning it down. She was not offered the role. So, like, that's... First of all, that's fucking weird. Because short list of actresses being wooed to star in Heat 2 does not mean that this person got the role. That's not how it works. And I think that's a little, like, ridiculous, too, especially from discussing film. We know discussing film is very, they play fast and loose with a lot of shit, just to get clicks on the tweet. A knowledgeable source confirmed that due to her commitment to the upcoming X-Men, the breakout star is no longer in contention. It joined Christian Bale and Leonardo DiCaprio to play the role of Charlene, a character originated by Ashley Judd. First of all, again, a knowledgeable source. Okay, sure, but Charlene. I mean, it could have been a number of roles. Like, there's so many roles. Like, there's also, Al Pacino's wife's role. There's there's Ashley Judd's, and then there's other fucking characters in the movie. Like, sure, there's probably plenty of shit that was gonna be passed through Indy at some point, and one of those roles could be Charlene, but could also not as well. Whatever. Anyways, P6H has also learned that Never Ready passed on a role that would have paid her $2.5 million for a horror project directed by Matthias Höhne. If that's true, that's fucking baller, dude. Good on her. She's like, listen, I already made money, dude. Like I'm not like, in a hurry to make, a fuckload of money when she's going to be earning a fuckload of money anyways, backing up the Brinks truck, doing an X-Men role, probably for a while too. All right. Okay, this is all like other drama shit with her boyfriend and whatever. So, I don't know. I just feel like this is someone who just wants to get a bag. You know what I mean? Like let someone get a bag. If they want to get a bag, get a bag. It's not the end of the world, and it certainly wouldn't be the first time that, somebody turned down a role and, got another franchise role instead, and it paid fucking dividends, So over time, I'm sure she'll be able to play pretty fucking awesome roles. And I think she's awesome. And she's 25 too. Like, it's, the sky's the fucking limit when it comes to like great actors and actresses. When it's so funny when I literally had a conversation with a family member of mine, and they were like, there are no, like actors like, what did they say? They said there are no actors like an old actor like Steve McQueen. Like, you can't have someone like Steve McQueen. It's like, well, first of all, another white dude being another white dude fucking having this big giant aura spotlight. Like, Indy Neveready can run circles around probably a lot of actors and actresses, but I'm saying she's a very fucking talented actress. Like, Obsession is arguably a great fucking movie that does deserve some sort of Oscar nomination. At least for her role, because her role was fucking insane, dude. All right. So yeah, I just think that, leave someone alone who just wants to be making a fucking bag. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all, dude? That's crazy. One thing I do want to discuss though is oh no, I just closed that window. I didn't mean to do that. Frick. Oh, it just saves that window? That's crazy. One second. Hold on. Hang on. There we go. Whew. That was crazy. That was very scary. I did not mean to close that window. But we got it. Okay? All right. Changing the title now. Is that hold on. Yeah. All right, Texas polls. Let's see what they said. 75 days out, Tallarico has a real shot at flip for two key reasons: Paxton's unpopularity and indies. Four most recent polls, indies only. Emerson, Tallarico's up by 62. Recon, Tallarico's up by 53. YouGov, Tallarico's up by 63. And it's interesting because I did get a text message about the race. So, and this was what I was looking forward to. I was told about this, or sorry, I was given this almost a month ago, and I was hoping to see what would come out of this. And yeah, as I suspected. I mean, look, Tallarico does have a phenomenal shot, man, you know? And that's great because what is Ken Paxton going to do? Also, you know, if we're going to compare apples to oranges here with policies and shit, at least Tallarico has issues and points that he wants to address. You know what I mean? Rather than, you know, just be like, well, I'm just going to give you some platitudes here and just mind my own business. You know, we actually have someone who is probably going to put in the work. Only time will tell, but I think there is a real fucking shot. And that's fucking huge. That's big. And something to remember too. With the little amount of accountability that our Governor Hot Wheels is fucking doing, we finally have a shot now where he is going to be held accountable, Governor Hot Wheels, and he's actually gonna finally face some fucking karmic justice somehow. I don't know how, but I'm gonna fucking hope and pray to God that he will actually face some sort of justice, you know? Because honestly, I've always said to myself, but I always said that, you know, justice will always prevail to those who seek it. And so many Texans I know who I work with, who are my neighbors, who, you know, I meet sometimes randomly, and I would have conversations with them. A lot of Texas people are very nice, much nicer than California Bay Area people. But also, they're not interesting enough to have a conversation. Sorry, I love Californians. Bay Area is my home. I love the Bay, but sometimes, you know, like a lot of people in the Bay are just very cookie cutter, same shit across the board. You know, like it's like just the Bay Area just consists of 95% of, you know, Obama stans. You know. People who just love 2008 Obama and like cried and you know had huge aspirations for the future, and we're still waiting on that shit. But when I talk to Texans and what they say about you know, Tallarico and this race and the state of the race is that a lot of people are hyped for this dude. And it makes me happy because that means that Texans in general, and there's so many great-hearted Texans. And I know it's crazy to say, but there are great-hearted Republicans. They're out of their minds. They're fucking crazy. But I genuinely understand where they are coming from. And it's just mostly coming from a point of, education, right? Because quite frankly, it's not so much like, I mean, there are people who are hard pressed on their ways and very very, very screwed tight to their beliefs. And when you put just a little bit of information and a little bit of facts and a little bit of understanding and a little bit of courtesy, all of a sudden you start to have a conversation with these people and they will agree with the same shit that you do. And most of the time, especially Texas Republicans who I talk to, they believe in the same shit that everyone else believes in. That's the thing that blows my mind the most, is that there's so many Republicans out here who actually loved Bernie Sanders and loved all the Bernie Sanders shit back in 2016 before he was, unfortunately crushed by girl boss genocide era Hillary Clinton, It just comes to show that Texans have come a long way and they understand what went wrong in this previous election, because what went wrong in the previous election truly was that there was just no policies that people were really hyped on with Kamala. And of course, we all know about, the reports that came out, especially from the DNC, that they wouldn't show, but people, scholars and, people who research like elections and shit like that, strategists of the like, have researched that 2024 election and have found that Israel-Palestine was this core issue that most people were like, you know what, fuck this, I'm just going to stay home. I'm not even going to pay attention to the to politics and the election because this shit has done nothing for me. I believe in a free Palestine, and Kamala just, basically gave the middle finger to any pro-Palestinian cause and said that, get behind me and we're doing this my way. And then, sure enough, a lot of people were like, okay, I'm just going to stay home and not vote in this election. And they did exactly that. And mind you, that's no one else's fault but Kamala Harris's. That's the thing that blows my mind, is that Kamala Harris was so inept and not even tapped in to what people are talking about and what people need, and listening to them and meeting them where they are. That's the thing that Tallarico stands out from Kamala, right? Is that Tallarico actually has the wherewithal to understand the root issue and the root cause, and says the root issue and the root cause, but also puts his money where his mouth is and goes to those locations, to those black communities in Houston, in impoverished neighborhoods around Texas, and Latino neighborhoods, and every demographic you can think of, including the rich whites. Because there's even like some rich whites, I'm sure, some rich white Democrats are, putting money behind him, and they love him, and that's, sure, that's great, but like, it's not enough. Tallarico doesn't have policies. And that's a shame, because if he did have policies, it's not just showing up to Hassan's stream. It's just having policies gets people excited and wanting to vote and do something that actually makes a difference in their community. That's what we saw in New York. It wasn't just, Zoran. It wasn't just Hassan. It wasn't just, DSA. It was people who saw where they are coming from. Claire Valdez, Daria Lisa, saw where they all came from. And we're like, you know what? This shit hasn't worked for years. In my neighborhood, in my town, in my city, and I don't know what to do. And most people feel stun-locked. And finally they see a candidate like Tallarico that finally speaks to where they are, meaning where Texans are. And he does it in such a way that I am inspired by, but also I'm a little concerned by. Because I don't want another John Fetterman situation either, where, he just gets hit by the stroke gun and just, fucking vaporizes his brain and just goes full on pro-Israel or whatever. Or do something of the same, to the same level. And I'm worried. I mean, I'm living here in Texas. Well, excuse me. I'm not in Texas right now. I'm in Yoda's hut right now. We're chilling in Yoda's hut. Anyways, we're back to this. So when it comes to Texans in what Texans need, it's not that different than let's say a Californian who lives in Tracy. You know what I mean? Just outside of the Bay in, almost in Contra Costa County. And, people are struggling. And people are struggling out there as well. And I feel like the only issue for people who don't understand everyday people, who are just very politicoded, it feels like there's nowhere to really go. If that makes any sense. Let me clear it up. Sorry. The universal understanding for people is that they're not making enough and they can't get ahead. And a lot of people, a lot of times, think that conflating something, something as bullshit as, fucking, looking at polls or worrying about what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz or any of these things aren't relevant when it is fucking relevant. Of course it's relevant. Because just because you don't want to pay attention to this doesn't mean that it doesn't affect us in some way, shape, or form. However, you can't force people to, look at politics. You can only lead a horse to water, right? So in order for people to understand, you have to speak to them at their level. James Tallarico can speak at their level. Ken Paxton can't. Ken Paxton is a fucking pedophile apologist. He's a fucking, he lets literal criminals fucking go. You know what I mean? He's like Two-Face after Harvey Dent went Two-Face. You know what I mean? But, like, never was Harvey Dent. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least Harvey Dent, like, I don't know, used some sort of lawyer justice. Can't say prosecutor. Prosecutorial. Whatever, man. It's a long day. But, you know what I mean, though? This is, like, something that is important in all of our lives. And Tallarico is like, yeah, no, I know. And that's why I want to help. That's why I know I can do shit. Whereas Ken Paxton, I mean, look, he's in the fucking gutter trash. I talked to his lawyer, and his lawyer fucking sold him out. And fucking, told the entire world that Ken Paxton is a fucking liar. He's a manipulator. He doesn't even campaign, let alone actually give a shit about his fucking, his campaign, his, possible position in the Senate. But people like Ken Paxton, especially Republicans, and even some Democrat, centrist Democrat who clearly lean far beyond more right wing. And we saw that in the case of Florida with, the race in a district ran by Jared Moskowitz, who was an incumbent, and Oliver Larkin was there to challenge, and Oliver Larkin lost because of probably a number of reasons. He was crushed by a dude who really just didn't give a fuck about anyone other than himself and the state of Israel, far beyond more than he would his own fucking district, right? Ken Paxton is like that, but just for criminals alone, which a lot of people will be like, well, what's the difference? Fair. But I think that Ken Paxton, in comparison to Tallarico, is fucking night and day. And what I'm scared of the most, what I'm so fucking terrified, because I'm only in ATX, so I only go as far as like maybe San Antonio to understand like where people are coming from with Tallarico and Ken Paxton. And I got to tell you, I've seen far beyond more for Tallarico than I did Ken Paxton. I don't see nobody talking about Ken Paxton. In fact, I think there was one I talked to, just a buddy who I work with on set, didn't even know who was running in the Republican side of this Senate race. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyways, I do have to pee real friggin' bad. So we're gonna hold on to this thought. And we're gonna go pee real quick, okay? Real fast. And we're back. We are back. Live out here in Yoda's hut, dude. That's what it is. That's what it is, dude. All right. Basically said what I needed to say about the polls. Texas polls. So I'm excited. We're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to keep an eye on it. But let's move on from politics. Snooze alert. Who cares about politicos? Who cares, dude? Okay. Okay. This one is a bit of a weird one. Not gonna lie. Okay. All right. Michael Jackson sequel. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Who knew? Who friggin' knew, dude? Michael's getting a squeakle, dude. Yeah, dude. Who knew? I will be honest. Let's just read this. Jafar Jackson says Michael 2 will give even more insight into child abuse allegations from his point of view. So this could mean a lot of things. I have yet to read this. But I kind of want to give it a read. Kind of want to read it. Ooh, it's a long one. Yeah, we're just gonna breeze through it and see what's up with this. See what's the deal with a sequel and what the fuck do they mean by will be given even more insight to child abuse allegations, like also it goes without saying that there is something very strange with what that history entailed with Michael Jackson. There's literally no doubt about it. Everyone knows that something was up. You know what I mean? Like something was definitely wrong with that dude, And I heard the movie was okay. I heard the movie was all right, So let's just give it a read, shall we? I think we shall. Whoops. Let me just move this. Okay. Jafar Jackson is playing King. Swear to God, dude. I love GQ and how they do their fucking titles. Their titles are like, it's so outdated. Of just like using like play on words, but like as like a way of just showing like the regalness and the royalty of Jafar Jackson. You know, it's like it's, I don't know. It's very gauche, I'll say. Jafar Jackson spent 3 years becoming the world's biggest pop star in the wildly successful biopic Michael. Now he reflects on family fame, bringing a complicated legacy into the sequel. By Fraser Tharp. Boy, oh boy. I can't. Let's see what this is all about. Jafar Jackson figured he'd be the next Tiger Woods by now. Despite being a second generation, sorry, I just that shit kind of stun-locked me for a second. I did not know what the fuck they were talking about. Despite being a second generation branch from what is perhaps the most prolific musical family tree in history, a young Jafar's first passion was on the green. Oh, he wanted to be a golfer. I'm a little stoned. I didn't. For a second, I'm like, what is he trying to say? I don't understand. Like, what the fuck? And then it's like, golf, idiot. Oh, gotta. Jesus Christ. His first passion was on the green, even practicing when he was far from it. I would golf in the house, break windows, get in trouble. He says with a smile, being Tiger level was my mindset. I wanted to get good and be able to compete and do tournaments. It's actually interesting. It's a typically overcast LA June gloom morning. Jafar just finished polishing off a bucket on the range. The same grounds he grew up practicing on every other day with 2 different coaches. As the clock turns to 11 a.m., he says this is much later than he normally comes. Left to his own devices, this is just him talking about. Okay, not to disrespect him. This is great. This is GQ Middle East. Okay, interesting. Left to his own devices, he'd be here. Crack of dawn, choir down. Okay, so he's just talking about. He's kind of reveling. The author and Jafar are sharing a moment golfing. You know, I guess. Life would end up taking Jafar down not one, but 2 different detours through a journey that leads us here today, where an interruption in our conversation explains why he isn't hitting the birdies in Augusta. Excuse me, a 40-something mother clad in a full golf-appropriate fit from skirt to visor, brandishing her 2 young children, asks, "But are you the man who plays Michael Jackson?" Jafar confers without hesitation, gamely accepts the inevitable picture request, and listens intently as she explains that she and her kids have seen Michael about 4 times now. Oh, man, the glaze. Oh, the glaze. The glaze. I love it. I mean, I'm sure he was pretty good in it. You know what I'm saying? About 4 times now. And her young children have had Michael Jackson music on a constant loop in the car, as if he was a brand new Gen Z artist. Yuck. Ew, yucky poo-poo. Gross. Interactions like these have been well par for the course for following the Michael mania. Instead of becoming a pro golfer, his culture. But it's just my thing is like, look, if you're gonna do a pun, either take this article seriously or don't. You know what I mean? I don't know. It just like I don't knock people in their way of writing articles, but I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, like. the whole like, let me hit you with a pun. Like, fucking relax, dude. Okay, chill. Instead of becoming a pro golfer, his cultural breakdown has been the performance of a lifetime. Michael Jackson, King of Pop. Both critics and fans agree on Jafar's transcendent performance. He now finds himself thrust into a spotlight he never previously chased and weighing options on what comes next. Here we go. Jafar says he was 5 when he realized his dad and uncles weren't quite like your normal family. It was in Madison Square Garden as he watched the Jackson 5 reunite professionally for MJ's 30th anniversary as a solo artist before thousands of adoring fans in one of the world's most famous venues. It was the first time, I think, in a long time where they were all on stage together, he tells GQ Middle East. I still can't remember how loud it was in there and the fans going crazy for... Oh, I still can remember just how loud it was. Sorry. It was in there. And the fans going crazy for my uncles on the stage. That was probably the first moment that hit me. Oh, they're important, but I still don't know what degree and the impact they had. The entire Jackson family tree. Wow, that's actually crazy. How long ago was the... Sorry, I gotta look this up. The Jackson 5 30th date. Wait, what? I'm not even doing a bit. I wish I was doing a bit. That's so crazy, dude. This has to be real. Michael Jackson 30th anniversary celebration was a 2001 concert show and television special by Michael Jackson. It was staged in MSG in New York City. On September 7th and 10th. I wonder what happened that day after. Crazy. That's crazy, dude. Because I remembered that. Like, I remember watching this. And I didn't even think about 9/11 being the next fucking day. I was 6 years old when 9/11 happened. How old is Jafar? Age. He's 30. Oh, shit. He's 30 years old? What the fuck? Really? 96. Okay. So. Oh, wow. So he was 4. He was 4 years old. Yeah. No, actually, hold on. He was 5. Oh, yeah. I think it was 5. I think he was 5. That's crazy. That is absolutely nuts, dude. So that's wild. Anyways, all right, we're just gonna continue. Oh, they said it was the 10th of September 2001, the second of the two shows. So a memorable week for a myriad of reasons. I'll say, Jesus Christ, I didn't even fucking read ahead. That's crazy. In the face of 9/11 tragedy, Jafar remembers it as a core family memory because of how evacuating the city brought everyone together on tour buses for what would become a cross-country trek back to California. Sans one specific relative, naturally. Michael got himself one of the only ungrounded flights out of town. Oh, of course. That's crazy. Jafar says, despite standalone aura displays like that, though the MJ he knew was always simply Uncle Michael. For me, it was similar to when I saw my other uncles, just a full prankster, jokester playing hide and seek. It wasn't always often, but during holidays or family days, we tried to get the whole family together. And then having time be able to go out to Neverland and see him there. Michael was incredibly busy. He was always traveling, but the days we would all get together, those were the most fun days. As he got older and started to understand Michael's stature in the world, Jafar says he approached it as sort of a oh man, I'm an idiot. Bifurcated persona. As a kid, I was like, that's Michael Jackson. Then in person, I was like, oh, that's my uncle. I never had the former thought in person. To that end, despite being the son of Jermaine Jackson, he had no... Oh, he's Jermaine's son. Oh, interesting. He had no early inklings of following in his father or uncle's footsteps until his dad steered him into that direction. Wow. After putting a golf club in his hands at age 3, Jafar estimates he was about 13 when Jermaine switched gears on him. He gave me my younger brother 2 weeks to learn a Jackson 5 song called Touch. And he was like, I want you guys to perform it for me. He was in a Joseph mentality. Jafar admits with a wink and a smile, referring to his famous grandfather. That's a little weird, huh? Before I had the chance to make the joke, that's a little weird. I don't know how I feel about that. So I was doing my dad's parts, and my younger brother was doing Michael's parts. Because he had a higher register, I'm very nervous, and I'm just all in my head. But I do it, and he actually says, I see a lot of potential. I want to start bringing you guys to the studio and having you learn what it is to create a song and record it. Interesting. From there, it didn't take long for Jafar to become okay. So to make the story, long story short, he crafted his own sound and style and recording music. He was so committed to this idea. When news of a nascent Michael biopic in Deadline Hollywood started to make the rounds, he had the same reaction any of us would have. Oh, that would be interesting. I wonder who they'll cast. Then the calls from Grand King started coming in. That time I was fully in the headspace of creating music. I just finished a project, Jafar remembers. Still hearing that the guy who just scored box office and award season gold with a music biopic, Bohemian Rhapsody, wanting to connect with him was enough to pique his interest. King apparently had seen a father-son performance Jermaine and Jafar did for a Christmas charity in the Netherlands. Over Zoom during the 2020 COVID quarantines, another moment in Jafar's dovetailing with a cataclysmic event. Incidentally, he heard my voice and how I was a similar singing tone to Michael's. And he was like, it'd be interesting if you're willing to help to use your voice in a post-production for Michael's singing. And then he kept looking at me with a certain type of look. 3 or 4 months later, it was safer to me, Jafar and King met at a Hotel Bel Air where he took even more note of King's studying him quizzically. Dissecting my mannerisms, how I'm talking because I naturally speak soft. My whole family does. The Jackson family soft tilt is distinct and apparently generational. Oh, lilt is distinct and apparently generational. They're just soft-spoken people, I guess. Interesting. Finally, King asked Jafar if he'd ever acted and had any interest in doing so seriously. Jafar took a day to himself to think. Okay, so he's talking about basically, Oh, wait, hold on. But King went radio silent, and in his absence, Jafar realized how much he actually did want this. He sent King a voice note singing Someone in the Dark, the song written by Alan and Marilyn Bergman and produced by Quincy Jones for the E.T. soundtrack. King called him back in 2 minutes. The result was one of cinema's biggest biopics ever. Oh, man, maybe I shouldn't have just fucking... Okay, so before that, he had music aspirations. He was going to be recording music since his dad, told him to record. And then, after fully considering what was his name again? The director. Sorry, I keep missing his name. Graham King. Which Graham King? Okay, yeah, he's just literally a producer. He's just like a producer. Okay. Yeah, we can move on. All right. So, he sent him a recording of him singing, and the result is one of the cinema's biggest biopics ever. The box office tallying around $1 billion and climbing. Yeah, pretty crazy. So, but after 3 years worth of mercilessly rigorous prep, production, and promo, what comes next? What is there to do oneself once the hard work is actually over? Traveling to promote the film across a handful of cities and continents at least gave him a sense of purpose. It allowed me to not feel like I'm lost in my energy because shooting was so grueling every single day. To completely just stop was like, wait, I feel like I need to do something. Now, though, the stillness is unavoidable. So after surrendering himself to his uncle's psyche for the better part of 3 years, Jafar is trying to reconnect with himself, which brings us to his childhood golf course and his attempts to hook into a long passion for a literal love of the game. All right, of course, as evidenced by our run-in earlier in the morning, playing... Okay, so now he's courtside at a Lakers game the night before we speak. He's presenting the BET Awards with his movie mom, Nia Long. Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. Jafar says he's managing the whirlwind by simply not indulging it. He's not on social media, save for any necessary film promo. I don't even have it. I've never downloaded it. He says with a straight face, I make a joke about TikTok. When I make a joke about TikTok, he counts his siblings and cousins as a close-knit group, maintains one close childhood friend that he grew up with in this same California town. But fascinatingly, Jafar says that playing the king of pop has quelled his own musical ambitions. Okay. Okay, so he's saying, I experienced the best I could experience as an artist on the stage as Michael. Me doing as Jafar would feel weird. Okay, so instead he caught a different type of performance from living as Michael. His drive and rigor for performance, he's eager to act more, once again committing to an unexpected career swerve, but only in roles that require the same kind of intensive preparation as playing Michael did. Parts that call on him to completely disappear into the character, or as Jafar puts it, to transform, citing inspirations like Daniel Day-Lewis. Okay, So wait, this is an article about him catching the fucking acting bug. This is like, for those of you who don't know, working on set, when you work with first-time actors, it's like they're skipping through roses and like everything is wonderful. Even though like me as a set deck, I'm not usually talking to actors, but sometimes I can see, people behind the scenes. And like when you deal with new actors, like you see them bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and so excited. Which is fun and sometimes cool, but also it's the same thing, It's just like, and you kind of want to tell them like, hey, I get it, you got the bug, it's great, we got to bring it down, because it was the same thing for me when I started off as a PA. We were on a shoot that was so horrible. It was not good at all. It was a shit show and a half. However, I met some of the most talented people in Austin that I've ever had the privilege and the chance to work with. And working as a set deck really taught me, working as a PA really taught me basically a crash course of everything I need to know about making a movie. From shot lists to friggin' call sheets to working on comms through the walkies and like knowing certain things to say and like what to say and shit like that. The typical film set etiquette, right? What does 86 mean? C-47, yada yada yada. So learning all that was like me as a sponge just soaking it in. And I was also, completely excited and was able to, be super invested into making, whatever I was on, whatever shoot I was on, whatever set I was on. I was excited about it. So it's just funny to see someone just be like, "Oh, I now caught the acting bug." It's like, okay, all right, but you said we're gonna be talking about the fucking sequel. Come on, no disrespect. I'm glad you caught the acting bug. Let's see. Okay. Michael's final years are perhaps the most mysterious time period across his entire mysterious life. But with access to MJ's collection of journals, which he kept up until his last days, Jafar has a rare window into Michael's psyche towards the end. A lot of those notes were through a child's eyes in a way. Very adventurous, innocently driven. He explains, one of the notes was like, as soon as I walk out of the street, I want 10,000 people stopping in their tracks and just watching me. He wanted all that. As a kid, you see things a little differently, and there's a lot of curiosity, and that's something Michael never lost. And I feel like he only gained more as he got older. Interesting. Jafar also says that Michael's writing reflected a business mind that was as sharp as ever. Accumulating so many catalogs and publishing, he really was taking it to the next level of what was done in the business space for an artist, because he owned half of Sony ATV. Holy shit. And even after that, he was acquiring more music, a lot of country songs. He owned a lot of film scores. He had rights to the Happy Birthday song. What? That's crazy. I didn't even know that. Shit. What Jafar likes to stress about Michael is that all the other adaptations, this is the only one to center around his actual POV. There's been so many stories about Michael, so many different people. He says, this is to tell Michael's story finally from the point of view of himself. To that end, he's excited for the opportunities Michael 2 will bring to ideally present a fully well-rounded picture. Here we go. There's so much more to Michael's story. There's so much to who Michael was and how he expressed himself, Jafar says. Late in his life, he was reading like Deepak Chopra and some other gurus, he revealed. Oh, spiritual shit. Okay, we gotta skip this, guys. I'm so sorry. Of course, in the shadow, was just blah, 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 blah. Critics attacked the fact that the film ends around 1987 release of Bad as a convenient way to sidestep having to address this part of Michael's life, thus clearing the way for a much more sanitized, crowd-pleasing film. The first allegation against him was around 1993, right? So that was like, yeah, basically, just shortly thereafter. Asked how much a sequel would delve into the criticism and allegations Michael faced. Jafar explains that the screenplay is in development and that he has no real say in its scope or story. So there you go. It's GG. That's all you need to say. They're not going to touch. They are never going to touch past 1980, and if they are, it's gonna be right up until 1993, and then dealing with all that in the late 90s and Dangerous. I don't even think they're gonna show fucking Dangerous, although I love that album. Low key. That's insane, dog. Really? Like, why would you bury the fucking lead all the way in the bottom and just go like, listen, hey, the screenplay is here, but it's just we're gonna be making our own story. That's it. It's like, well, fuck me. Then why are you here? What an insane thing to do. Crazy. But what he does know, what he'd like to see, I think the second film will give even more insight from his point of view, because at the end of the day, the allegations are always from someone else's, he says. Choosing his words carefully, not sounding like he had to rehearse he had to rehearse the response. It's someone else's story. It's someone else's idea of what it is, and it's not mainly driven by an agenda. And that's really the issue we've been having as a family, not having Michael's voice being heard. I think that's very, very important, especially in the late years. So let me get this straight. They're going to make a whole ass fucking sequel only to bob and weave around all the shit that has been going on with all the controversies and all that shit, to just curtail it around to be like, listen, the screenplay is going to be what the screenplay is, but the most important thing to know is that it's his voice. It has to be, Michael's POV. And it's like, listen, I'm not like against that whole notion. And I understand, like, it's up to the screenplay, but it's also really it's up to like studios that have the rights to Michael. I think it's Warner. Wait, no, hold on. Lionsgate with Universal. Okay, so it's a Lionsgate Universal thing. Okay. But from that same British producer, Graham King. Yeah. Wow, he produced The Departed as well. Crazy. Okay. Let's continue. Jafar offers that splitting the story up across 2 films actually offers a chance for a deeper understanding. The first film focused on Michael from his roots, so you get that idea of who he was before he had all the success and became the icon that people are familiar with. You understand who he was as a human being first, because at the end of the day, that's who he was in the 90s until he passed. He never changed that purity, that sense of always wanting to find the good in other people. And no matter all the stuff he went through, how he was treated, what things were said about him, he never stopped treating people with kindness. He never stopped believing in and wanting to look for the good in people. Even though he was broken, his heart still stayed the same. I hope that this is felt in the second movie. Even though he was broken, his heart still stayed the same. I mean, look. I'm not saying that there is, I don't know. Like, that's just, I'll save it to the end, because this next paragraph is I feel like probably even more important. In addition to some of the more sordid details, much has been made about the people the film doesn't include, like, say, a certain aunt whose music career is almost as highly regarded as Michael's. Jafar downplays any sense of bad blood towards the film from Janet Jackson, explaining her absence in the movie as more of a pragmatic choice. I don't want to speak too early, but Janet has ideas of maybe doing her own film, so having someone portrayed in this and then choosing a different actor, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I wanna read this as well. So we'll read that after. Okay. Janet, so having someone portrayed in this and then having to choose a different actor for her is just, he trails off. To get the majority of the family on board and comfortable, King actually set up a private viewing of a screen test for my cousins and the second generation to see the first screen test that I did after a year and a half, almost 2 years of prepping for it. I didn't want to be in the room, but I was like, I should, just because it's a lot to take in, especially portraying your family member and then having all your family there. Jafar remembers it being extremely quiet in the room, just really paying attention to what I was doing on the screen. There were some sniffles, a few cousins getting emotional, and after it ended, I just got so many hugs and a lot of support. It was a relief because there was a lot of worry as how it was going to be done. But once I saw my portrayal, it was a huge relief. There's no word on how it will report back to set to start practicing for, say, the Remember the Time video, but he says that as much as he has his eyes set on the next step on acting career might take, he wouldn't have felt satisfied if Michael had stopped here. Once his uncle's story has been fully told, he's ready to start expanding the range for what a Jafar Jackson performance can be. Interesting. It's really just about wanting to pick something that is going to challenge me in a way that I can be. I don't want to get into a film just to get into a film. I don't want anything easy. Michael wouldn't have it any other way. Cool. Wow. That's crazy. So wonder. Oh, I can shrink it. Haha. See, that's how I get around this is by maximizing the freaking article and minimizing the stupid fucking ads. You know what I'm saying? Music's going hard, dude. Okay. What is this? Or 219. What is this? What do you mean, what is this? This is Adam Chase Broadcast. Welcome. Glad that you're here, bud. Super happy that you're here. Hit a subscribe while you're at it, too. Will ya? Where in the Michael world is Janet Jackson? See, this is not something that I knew. I did not know that Janet was not in the movie, which is insane to me. The music superstar is nowhere to be seen as a character in the new biopic about her late brother. I wish everybody was in the movie. Jackson's sibling LaToya Jackson told me Monday night at the film's premiere at the Dolby Theater. She was excited and she kindly declined, so you have to respect her wishes. Interesting. All right. That was just a tweet. We don't need to watch it. Michael's portrayed by their nephew Jafar Jackson, with Joe Jackson playing by Coleman Domingo. And okay, so we know all that. We're just going to skip all. As for Janet, Fuqua said, I have much respect and love for Janet, but you know it's okay. She's supportive of Jafar, and that's what matters. Okay. LaToya gushes over Jafar's performance. On that. Wait, what? As Variety's Brent Lang and Rebecca Rubin first reported in early April, the Jackson estate had to pay up to $15 million for reshoots. They had to cut scenes showing Michael being accused. Wait, what? They had to cut scenes showing Michael being accused of child molestation by Jordan Chandler because Chandler's settlement with the singer barred the depiction or any mention of him in the movie. What? That's fucking insane. That's crazy. Wow. I gotta look. Oh, what? Hold on. I have to look at this real quick. Hold on. What? Hold on. Okay. We are going down a rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen. Holy moly. Inside Michael Overhaul, $15 million reshoots, removing child abuse allegations, and what's in store for the sequels. Whoa, dude.
By the time you hear the next pop, the funk shall be within you. The funk shall be within you.
That's wild. That is obnoxiously wild, dude. Sorry. Inside the Michael Overhaul, $15 million reshoots, removing child abuse allegations, and what's in store for the sequels. Michael, the story of Michael Jackson's rise to superstardom. Okay. Michael, the story of Michael Jackson's rise to superstardom was supposed to begin in medias res, with one of the darkest chapters of the singer's life. Wow. In one scene of the film's original script, the King of Pop stares at his reflection in the mirror, capturing his sorrowful gaze as police car lights flash behind him. It's 1993, a decade after Thriller gripped the culture, and Jackson just had been accused of child molestation. What? I did not know this at all, dude. Excuse me? But the sequence with the investigators who arrive at Neverland Ranch to search for evidence is one of many that left the cutting room floor. That's crazy, dude. I'm going to do one thing real quick, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to still be here. There's one thing I'm just going to do. I'm not going to have, or you know what? Let's just go to a quick safety meeting. That's fine. We're just gonna go to a quick safety meeting. I'm going to still be on mic. We're just doing a neat little, a cheeky little safety meeting, you know?
Somebody asked me. It's up to you what you do with your life. You have just one, so do what's right now. Somebody asked me.
All right. We are back, but I unfortunately participating in a safety meeting that turned out not to be that safe. But now I ensured this to be a safe stream. I am not I did not just took a massive hit. Oh my god. I look like shit. I know I look like shit. I took a massive hit of something that was deemed not safe. But we are back nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. That's for certain. All right. We're back. All right. Back to Janet Jackson. Oh. All right, Michael Squeakle, and we made a big Janet discovery. Ooh. Just perfect. All right. We're Mac. All right. Whoops. Yes. Yes. All right. But the sequence with investigators who arrive at Neverland Ranch to search for evidence is one of the many that were left on the cutting room floor. Michael, which Lionsgate will release in April, was supposed to explore the impact of the allegations on Jackson's life. With much of its third act devoted to the scandal. What? Dude, if I knew that, I would have... that's crazy. But that finale was scrapped, along with any mention of the child molestation accusations, according to sources with knowledge of the production. That's after the attorneys for this Jackson estate, which served as a producer, realized there was a clause in the settlement with one of the singer's accusers, Jordan Chandler, that barred the depiction or mention of him in any movie. After the late-stage discovery, filmmakers went back to the drawing board to come up with a new ending. The process was further delayed after the House of Screenwriter John Logan was damaged. What? The process was further delayed after the House of Screenwriter John Logan was damaged. Got it. In the Palisades fire. As a result, Michael, which had been scheduled to land in theaters April 18th, was delayed to October 3rd before moving to a final spring 2026. Yeah. Last June, the cast reassembled for 22 days of additional photography to shoot in the new third act and flesh out scenes from earlier in the movie. Production, which had primarily taken place in Santa Barbara, restarted in Los Angeles but didn't qualify for the state tax rebate that added $10 million to $15 million to the budget. They're just throwing money. It is what it is. According to sources' knowledge with similar projects, Michael was greenlit for $155 million. The Jackson estate shouldered those extra costs because its air necessitated the changes, insiders say. But because it was willing to foot that bill, the estate has an equity stake in the film, according to another individual with knowledge of the production. Interesting. Yeah, okay. So this is all the other stuff. That's crazy. Jackson's attorney, John Bronca, and the state's senior executive, Karen Langford, why does that name sound so familiar, were consulted on production decisions, and the pop star's son, Prince, who served as executive producer. Oh, interesting. Was a daily presence on set. The artist's other two children, Biggie and Paris, had no involvement. Oh. Or BG in Paris. Though Jackson is one of the most popular musicians in history, he remains a controversial figure. His estate... Okay, I need you to go. His estate is aware of the shadow cast by the multiple child abuse. His estate is aware of the shadow cast by the multiple child abuse allegations against the singer. According to knowledgeable executives, Jackson always asserted his innocence. However, the estate was encouraged by the global success of jukebox musical MJ, which opened up Broadway in 2022 and embarked on a national tour in 2023. Oh, I didn't know that. That's actually kind of cool. The show, which pointedly ends just before the 1993 allegations break, gave Jackson's team confidence the public would be willing to embrace a sympathetic look at him. It's one of the 4 new musicals since the pandemic that's still running, and it has grossed over $300 million at the Broadway box office. What in the brick? Huh. I mean, I don't need to watch them. I was gonna show the trailer, but it was like, eh. at first, I was like, yeah, I'll show this, but I was like, nah. On second thought, probably not. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Nah, I'm okay. Okay. Grossed over $300 million at the Broadway box office. It's crazy. The estate also considered the popularity of the Cirque du Soleil show 1 and the 2009 concert film This Is It. Yeah, the Cirque du Soleil show, I heard wasn't really that good though. I mean, yeah. Man, although if back in the day, like 2009, yeah, that was I think 2008 he passed, or I think no, it was 2009. I think his funeral was 2009. He passed away in 2008 or something like that. Yeah, I mean, my dad and I, we were obsessed with Michael Jackson. We loved listening and watching Michael. My dad had a DVD of all of his music. It was like the history. It was history. It was no. It was fuck. What was it? It was a history. Music video movie by Michael Jackson. His story on film. Dude. Oh. We gotta watch. Is it? Oh, I'm gonna get my shit claimed though. I can't show Scream. Frick. At least I don't think so. I mean, I can show it on Twitch. It's just YouTube is gonna be the only place. Okay, well, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube, you can watch my VOD. I'm sure if you just hit my follow, you could just access my VOD. I don't think there is no not accessing my VOD. So if you are watching this, I want to watch the Scream music video, because the Scream music video is fucking so good. It's so goddamn good, dude. Is that? Oh my god, dude. All right, we got it. We got to remove some of these tibs. Yeah. Let's delete that. And let's bring this bad boy in. Ladies and gentlemen, this music video was something that was an intrinsic part of my childhood. It was an awakening of what branches can breach for art. And this music video, I'm fucking telling you. Hold on, let's put nothing against these guys, but I don't want it to, you know what I mean? This music video was essentially the biggest part of my childhood. Like, I remember this like it was the back of my hand, because my dad picked up this DVD, I want to say either at Rasputin's or at Target in San Lorenzo, California. And the Target, no. Was it Target? No, it was another store. Maybe Walmart. No, it doesn't matter. Anyways, Rasputin and there's Target, either or. My dad picks up this DVD, and he was like, "You wanna watch this movie with me?" And I'm like, "What is it?" And he's like, "Well, let's just put it on and see what it is." And sure enough, it was the DVD to all of like Michael Jackson's greatest music videos. And mind you, my dad and I, we were big on Michael Jackson. I loved Michael Jackson. Thought this shit fucking slapped. And then when this music video came on, it was like a bunch of music videos, and it was like, Smooth Criminal was a huge one too, but this one was by far and wide the craziest fucking one in the world. It's just such a great fucking music video. I hope it's loud enough. If it's not, I'm gonna be real sad. Okay. I could turn it up a little bit. You gotta understand something too. This was a long fucking time ago. You know what I mean? This was got to get up. Get it down. mid-June 1995. So it was on DVD a little after that. It was about probably 10 years after that. Telling you, man, this shit fucking slapped. All right, I think that's enough. We don't need to watch the whole thing, but you get the point, dude. It's so freaking good because we got to finish this article. We can't get this distracted. You know what I'm saying? Okay. The estate also considered the popularity of the Cirque du Soleil show one in 2009 concert film This Is It, which This Is It honestly was like a very interesting time. No. I was gonna show a trailer, but it's just too much. Because This Is It was actually not a bad concert film. It was a little sad because it was, of course, posthumous, right? It was supposed to be. This Is It was supposed to be a film that was going to be like the concert film, like what Taylor Swift did with her Eras tour, right? Of like having a whole ass fucking tour, a huge sold out tour, and have it be filmed and have it all be, actualized and shit like that. But unfortunately, during that process, Michael passed away. And people, the autopsy report showed that it was a mixture of medication, and a lot of people like to, point the finger at the doctors who may or may not have, misprescribed or, made malpractice on prescriptions, gave them the wrong dosage, what have you. And that was a result of his unfortunate pass. Which was crazy because it was like everyone was geared up for the Michael Jackson tour. Like people, like I remembered like going to school and even teachers were talking about like, oh yeah, I'm thinking of just taking a loan out and just going and flying to wherever the fuck they're going to play in Europe, Michael Jackson, wherever they're going to play in Europe, just take out a loan and just go and, fucking go see Michael Jackson live somewhere in Europe. Like, motherfuckers were committed. And I love Michael Jackson, but I mean, like, the thing with my fandom is that, like, I would go see a live show if it's convenient enough for me, but it's hard for me to really, like, I would have to love the band a lot in order for me to, like, travel. Like, if the White Stripes decided to, like, come do one show, like Meg White just decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to dust off the fucking drum kit and we're going to play another fucking show. I mean, I would fucking fight tooth and goddamn nail to get tickets to that. 100%. There's only very few bands that I would do that for, though. Very few. But not many bands I would do that for, because that's insane. That's just out of control. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, moving on. Back in 2024, producer Graham King told the exhibitors at CinemaCon He'd been preparing the movie for years, interviewing hundreds of people who knew Jackson as he determined how to condense a performer's life into a single film. Because the original cut was more than 3.5 hours, King hopes to turn Michael into a 2-part story. Lionsgate Universal, which is overseeing international distribution, believe there's enough material for at least one more movie. The studio suggests roughly 30% of the material was jettisoned from Michael, could be reconstituted for potential sequels. It's unclear how the future films would handle legal battles and abuse allegations. That's the thing. I'm like, if the estate made an agreement with that family who wished to not be part of this, I don't know. It definitely shows that there's something there, you know, and it's dark and it's sinister, you know, and hopefully one day there will be a time where we can tell a story. Hopefully there will be a time one day where we can tell a story that can show a horrible situation of like the allegations and everything that comes from a person and capture it in a way that's completely honest. Not like in the third act he done like some good act, you know, just follow through with the looming suspicion that something horrible he did, you know. Whether or not that's true, I don't want to really get into a whole ass debate about it. I have not seen Finding Neverland or that documentary. But from people who I know have watched it, my friends who've watched it, it's a real fucking deal. They like Michael is responsible for some shit, and it's unfortunate because that's a really difficult topic to discuss, especially about something as sensitive as Michael Jackson. It's fucking Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not like, you know, an easy story to tell with a straightforward, you know, explanation. Also, you got to understand something. It is a movie. So even though biopics are grounded, at least as much as it could be for someone's story, yet unfortunately have to sell the movie. You can't make something that is truly, you know, honest to the word of, you know, every beat of that event to the second. It's impossible. You can't do that. And it's not interesting enough, unfortunately. Just in the realm of film that I'm in, when you're telling a story, you can't just, you know, tell the story straightforward as it is. You know, you probably could in some way, you know, with certain stories from certain people, sure, I guess. But at the same time, you do have a, you know, a job as a filmmaker to make this as palatable as you possibly can. You have to keep that, you know, in the back of your brain. You can't just assume that, you know, people are going to stick around for somewhat of a boring ass, like, you know, trial of all of the Michael Jackson court trials that he has had. You know what I mean? That's not an interesting enough story. Although, if there are filmmakers that can do a way or have a way of doing it, that would be very interesting. You know, like a courtroom drama of Michael Jackson wouldn't necessarily be an actual. You know what? I take that back. I think that might actually be interesting. That actually might be interesting. But again, I don't think that the estate nor anybody in you know, the settlement with that family, Chandler family, would agree to you let this film be a thing. You know what I mean? So anyways, let's move on. King has told the studios he would focus on Singer's later albums, including Dangerous and Invincible, the purchase of construction of Neverland Ranch, as well as his love of animals. That's crazy, dude. That's actually nuts. Nuts. But interesting. You know what I mean? Very, very interesting, I must say. Want to see what else is in the docket. We haven't even had music on this entire time. No wonder it was awkwardly silent. Whoops. Yeah, we're gonna. Yeah, that's a good volume, right? Am I crazy? It could be a little lower. Although I might be wrapping it up here because I am tired and hungry. Well, we can vibe out a little bit with this. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to be it for me. I know it's only 2 hours. I plan on doing longer. It's just I'm in the middle of a shoot. I'm in the middle of working. So it's kind of hard for me to keep up with streaming and having a consistent schedule. So my goal for streaming in general is that I want to be able to have 2 days off a week and watch these streams. So if you guys enjoy these streams, I'm leaving the VODs up as much as I possibly can, as much as, YouTube would allow me to. But at the same time, I might get, friggin' destroyed by the YouTube gods of letting my video or my live stream, my VOD, still be up. So I did post the twitch.tv link in the bio. Subscribe, follow, do all the things. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for going down that Michael Jackson rabbit hole, biopic rabbit hole, between finding out that Janet was cut out of the freaking movie. I'm sure a lot of you guys watching right now would be like, wow, this dude is far behind. I know, but I did not know that Janet was just like fully fucking cut. That's out of control. Oh, and the whole thing of there's a third act of the allegations, the 1993 allegations. That's just insane. So we went down a rabbit hole, guys. It was a lot. There was a lot going on. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I should hopefully be on tomorrow night, if I'm not dead by the heat, because it's supposed to be over 100 in Texas. So yeah, drink plenty of water, ladies and gentlemen. Stay hydrated. Don't talk to strangers. Wash your hands. And as always, I will see you in the next one. See you later, everyone. Thank you so much.